Thank you very much, Asaita. Let's see. So my name is Glenn Blinkman, and I'm going to follow along with what everybody else is doing. I handle the New York Court Administration. I'm based in upstate New York, and I also handle some of our ISV partners. Shout out to Esri, Bentley, and Axon, if anyone is joining from there. So Teams breakout rooms, it's not often we get to actually show off a feature that's simultaneously being introduced in commercial cloud as well as in the government community cloud. But this feature has been making it about the same time to both clouds. So first we'll go over a little bit of an overview of what breakout rooms are. Then I will walk you through how to use breakout rooms, how to set them up, and some of the things to look for. And then we'll go over a little bit about what's coming in the future. There we go. So what are breakout rooms? As Jeff was so kindly foreshadowed in the last session, really breakout rooms are separate meetings, as he was showing by doing separate meetings in his system. This is just a more elegant way of doing the same thing. So instead of having to set up, let's say, 4 different meetings where you're having somebody, you need a bunch of people to work on something outside of the main meeting, this allows you to keep everything within that one meeting context. It makes it a lot easier to schedule it. You don't have conflicting meetings on your calendar. You don't have people joining the wrong meetings at the time. So it simplifies the arrangement a lot. But as far as what they are, they really are separate meetings under the hood. So that's how they're working. This is available for both private meetings as well as channel meetings. And as far as when are they arriving, good news, you already have them. So they're here. They ship in December, and everybody should have them in their tenant. That's assuming that the admins for the tenant haven't turned them off via policy. It's possible to do that, so it could be that you don't have it because of policy. There are some other reasons I'm going to go through as to why you may not see breakout rooms. So I'll do that as I'm going along through the walkthrough. So breakout rooms make it easy to divide the meetings into small groups. If you're trying to facilitate some type of a conversation, where would you do this? If you're having doing training for groups of people and you need to break people out to have different work groups, that's one good use for this. Another good use for this would be hearings. In government, we do a lot of hearings with a lot of the different agencies. This is a big feature for doing hearings where you might want to have a sidebar conversation. So people can get into a breakout room and chat amongst themselves without disrupting the main meeting. Participants can move back and forth between the main meeting and any of the breakout rooms, assuming that the room is set that way. And I'll show you where that is. Organizers can close the breakout rooms, bring everyone back to the main meeting. And the files are available, all the recordings, that's all available in the chat area, and I'll show you where that is. So let's do a walkthrough. Now, I'm just showing here Teams running in a virtual machine and running with the full client. Normally I do most of my demonstrations using the web client, but in this case, the requirements for breakout rooms, if you're the moderator, if you're the organizer of the meeting, you have the sole responsibility and the sole ability to create breakout rooms. So it's not something that anybody in the organization can do. Only the organizer of the meeting can make the breakout rooms. The other caveat with this is you need to be running the full client. It doesn't have to be on Windows, it can be on a Mac as well, but it needs to be the full client, can't be the web client. The people participating in this, they can join from a web client. So I'm going to join a pre-prepared meeting that I set up. And we'll get a couple of people to join. I'm not going to use any audio and video for this because we really don't need it for this meeting. Now, you'll notice up here, we have something for breakout rooms. This is an icon. I can either set this up before other people join if I join the meeting early, or I can wait to set the breakout rooms up after people join. We can create a whole bunch of meetings, a whole bunch of breakout rooms, up to 50. So quite a few. That's more than I would ever want to manage. I'm only going to create 2 of them, and I'm going to add people manually into that. That's actually a very common way of doing that. So here we see in the sidebar here, the room is set up. There are 2 different breakout rooms, and we don't have any participants joined yet to assign that. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to join the meeting, and this I'm doing from a browser, and you could do this from a mobile client as well. The only thing you can't do this from is if you have a dial-in connection. You can't join a breakout. You can't be moved into a breakout room from a dial-up telephone. But if you use a phone and use a mobile client, you can. I'm connecting as 2 different people. And now we have Jordan and Nestor working with us. And I'm going to take both of these people, take both of these people and assign them to room number 1. And what this has done is set up where they're going to go. Now, I could be in the meeting while we're talking to them and saying, okay, I've got the meeting room set up. Nestor and Jordan, you guys are going into room 1. And I'm going to start the rooms. Now, I'm just came up and I'm as Jordan right here. And you see I got a message. The breakout room session has started. You will automatically be moved in 10 seconds. And you see I'm leaving a meeting and now I'm connecting into a different meeting. This is actually the breakout room. And this is where I say, under the hood, it's really doing different meetings. And we're both moved in here. And you see, I don't see the administrator anymore. But I do have things like meeting chat still available to me. But can also, any of the participants in the meeting room can do things like start a recording. That's very handy to have. So you have a separate recording of the breakout room here. And I'm going to say, this is room 1 chat, just to show you what's going on. Now in room 1 chat, I'm going to go over to the other account, Jordan's account, and room 1 chat shows up because we're both in room 1. The organizer, if they look at their chat, the organizer is in the main room. Oops, clicked on the wrong thing here. And you see, they show that meeting has started here, but there's nobody typing in the chat. If I go out to my chat client, it's getting there. There we go. I can see that I can see the room one chat. Now, if I were not the organizer, I wouldn't see the chat, but the organizer doesn't have anything withheld from the organizer. So if you're thinking about, okay, let's say we're doing a hearing and we want to have maybe an attorney do a sidebar conversation with a witness, but we don't want the judge to hear about it, but the judge is the organizer. You can't do that. As far as permissions go, the organizer has rights to everything. So that's something to keep in mind.
Glenn?
Yes.
There's one question here. What is the best way to share documents or texts or instruction that people can see within the breakout groups?
Oh, okay. So within the breakout rooms, I'm in the wrong place. I just was doing meeting chat here, but I can easily just drop a file into here too. So if I do something like attach a file, I can attach it from my OneDrive or upload it to the computer. Where does this go? This goes the same place it does in a regular meeting, which would be going into the meeting chat area, and it's really being shared out of OneDrive. So you still have access to all the files that you would, but the files, I should show that actually. Let me go and show in room one here, you see that there's a chat, but the meeting one, the main meeting we joined from is a separate chat area. So the files area for the meeting, it's a separate chat location, separate folder, but it's still all available in OneDrive and in Teams. The exception to that would be a channel meeting, which I'll go through in a little bit. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Yeah, one other question I think would be beneficial. Two, can you rename the breakout rooms? And another one is, can an organizer join any breakout room he wants?
The organizer, yes, can join any breakout room that they want. So we go back to the breakout room interface. And as far as, let's say I have room 1 and room 2 right now, I have the ability to join the room. And I'm going to join now, and it's going to show me joining into that meeting with the other 2 members already there. In just a second, or maybe just a minute. Yeah, I know I have no microphone. Okay, now it's showing everybody. Okay, and now if you notice the button that I have, in addition to the leave button, which would have me leave the meeting, which is not what I want to do, I also have a return button, and that would return me back to the main meeting. Now, I've given the other people, they may have a return button as well, but that's a setting that you can do. So in the breakout rooms, one of the things that I can do an announcement. And that will send an announcement to all the breakout rooms. We only have one in use right now, but it comes through as an important message that gets people's attention. And for the room settings, I have to have the rooms closed if I'm going to make settings changes. But once I get everybody out and show what a channel meeting looks like, I will show what the settings are. And I probably should do that now, as a matter of fact. So one of the things, even in the web client here, we do have the return button. So we're going to return here, and I'm going to have this account just hang up. And this account hang up. I'll leave this meeting. This was a conventional private meeting that I was showing. What I'm going to go into now, go back to my calendar. I just wanted to show a difference of what a channel meeting would be. This is slightly different, and maybe not in ways that you would expect. And I will make a breakout room. I'll just create one. And now the room settings. You have the checkbox of automatically moving the participants to the rooms. You can allow people to return to the main meeting, or you could turn that off if you don't want people to be able to return on their own to the main meeting. Generally, people leave that on, but you can do it either way for whatever makes sense to you. Now, I'm going to go join a channel meeting from the web. And here's the channel join. Get this account already on there. Really what I wanted to show was the chat. And I'm just saying this is the channel meeting. So you look at saying, okay, where is this putting this? Normally what you would expect in a channel meeting would be for all the information to be, since I scheduled it in this meeting, that I would have the chat here. But the chat's not showing up here. This would show the chat for the general meeting, for the general session. So if I do channel meeting here, this is going to show up in the team, in the channel, the chat. Okay, so there we go, chat in channel. So the text for the chat that I was doing in the main meeting is showing up in the channel area. Now the text that I did for, remember we said that these are essentially separate meetings. So even though you have a channel meeting, since the rooms are separate meeting, the room meetings are being handled outside of the channel, so they just go into the chat area. So this is true both of the chat and of any files that you share in the rooms. They're all available in the chat area, and you can see the files area up here. If you want to get to the files, they're there. But this is all handled in OneDrive. The regular conventional channel meetings, all the main meeting contents, they're all in the SharePoint site and in the main team. So there's a little bit of a disconnect where people might expect to find this versus where it really is. Thinking a channel meeting, everything's going to be in the channel, not in this case. And so one of the other pieces that I wanted to show was you don't have to be an organizer for the meeting. And I lost where I was. Here we go. If I want to be in that room, I can now start a recording. The recording of the meeting will stay with the meeting, with the chat, with the files, so it's going to be available in the same place. As we're migrating the meetings from Stream to OneDrive, it's going to show up in regular, right in the OneDrive container for the meetings.
Hey, Glenn.
Yes.
One question that keeps coming up, and you can just clarify for everyone, is are they able to set up breakout rooms prior to the meeting starting?
No. Well, I mean, a few minutes prior. And this is why I say you may want to join the meeting early and set up the breakout rooms so that you don't have to do it during the meeting. But no, you can't have this set up ahead of starting the meeting. So the meeting has to be started this particularly in channel meetings, you really wouldn't want to start up early, otherwise everybody else starts joining the meeting early. Because the notification goes right in the channel that your meeting is starting. But no, you do have to make sure that you don't have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to schedule this meeting in advance and I want 4 breakout rooms for it. There is no such thing.
But that is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the future. We don't know when that's coming though, right?
I was actually told, hopefully
Spring?
hopefully by March, April. Yeah. But yeah, their engineering's working on it right now.
Yeah, that's a lot easier problem to solve than some of the other problems that there are. Something to keep in mind if you have VDI or if you have there are different requirements, but the basic requirements for the breakout rooms is you have to be using the full client like I'm using here, and it has to be in the new meeting experience. So many of the VDI clients can't use the new meeting experience, so therefore can't be the organizer for a breakout room. They can certainly be a participant. Mobile devices, web clients, they can all be participants in the breakout rooms, but they can't be the organizer. So this is one of the things that may trip you up if you're in a full VDI environment, that you don't have this button to turn on the new meeting experience. If you don't have it, then you don't get the new features. And let's see, what else do we have? We can, let's see, I think I showed joining the meeting. The chat history for this is stored in OneDrive and in Teams. That's normal. So any questions coming in so far?
There was one question, if you're able to preset the length, the time of breakout session.
That's coming soon. As a matter of fact, let me go back to PowerPoint slides, because I did want to show what's here now. I did mention tenant admins do have a policy so that it's possible to turn off breakout rooms if they weren't wanted. But most people that I've talked to have it turned on. Organizers have a whole bunch of things that they can do: broadcasts, switch attendees to different rooms, rename the rooms, accessing the media files. recreate rooms from scratch. If the rooms get deleted, you can recreate them. A whole bunch of different things that you can do right off the bat. Setting the duration of the room, though, and a countdown timer for the room. So let's say if you're doing training and saying, okay, we're going to leave and do a breakout room for 20 minutes and come back after that. Currently, it's a manual process, but that is one of the things that's coming pretty quickly. That's either coming over the winter or spring. Room creation and assignment history retention. So the fact that you're making the room and the assignment of who's going into what room right now isn't being stored anywhere, but the history for that is going to be saved again shortly. So that's all coming down the pike. One of the things I forgot to show is if you're in the meeting, you can request that the organizer join with you in the room. I'm not going to show that now because I'm running out of time.
Quickly as well, I don't know if you showed this, but the ability to allow participants to return from a meeting room by enabling the setting.
They can. That's the toggle switch that I showed. You can either allow them or not allow them to come back into the main room. So that's a setting for the meeting rooms.
Okay, and then one last.
What it's for.
Perfect. One last question here is, are you able to place backgrounds in meetings or in breakout rooms?
Backgrounds? No, I haven't. But you mentioned something as far as kind of like a wish list item. I was going to go through the frequently asked questions, but I think I hit on every single one of these already. I did want to have people do a little bit of a poll. So you can either snap the QR code that's on the screen, or you can just type in the link into a browser. And if you'd like to answer a couple of questions, basically what I'm looking for is, are breakout rooms something that you feel you're ready to start using? Or is there something else that you need from breakout rooms that's not in there today? And if there's something that we mentioned that's coming shortly, if that's part of what you need, feel free to enter that. We'd love to get your feedback on this.
Perfect. And I also just announced this link. So if anyone would like to click on it and give us feedback, that would be really great. And again, I know you probably have a lot of questions in regards to breakout rooms, but Glenn, you did an amazing job of kind of hitting on the highlights. These are appetizer rounds. So if you do want to learn more about breakout rooms, please contact your customer success manager. They'll make sure they pull on the right resource to deliver that training for you. If you don't know who your customer success manager is, since I keep referencing that, just go ahead and put a note. And just so you also know, whatever note that you send us or question or feedback, we are vetting it before we publish it. So, you know, your information will not be seen by everyone. So if you don't know who your customer success manager is, just send a note and one of us will be able to reply back to you. So with that, thank you so much, Glenn, again. And I think I am following you actually right now to talk about the mobility of Microsoft Teams. So thank you, Glenn.